In this video, we're going to be talking about FERPA. You know, FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act? That's right, that FERPA. The one that was passed all the way back in 1974. You know, student data sure looks a lot different today than it did back then.
Well, will you look at that? Hank Aaron beat Babe Ruth's baseball record. Break time's over. Back to making education records using a typewriter, like everyone in 1974 does. Janet, could you please bring the carbon paper? I need to make 3 copies of this education record and place one in this manila folder where everyone in 1974 keeps their education records.
Even though the way we record and store data is very different today, FERPA remains relevant because it doesn't care what media the information is kept in, digital or paper. It concerns itself mostly with who can access and disclose records regardless of the forum they appear in. The simplest way to explain FERPA is to say that it limits the student personally identifiable information, also known as PII, that schools can disclose or share. So FERPA does a lot to protect the privacy of students. More specifically, it protects the information kept in their education records. An education record is defined as anything that contains PII and is maintained by the school. That means we're not just talking about what you keep in these cumulative folders or in those oversized filing cabinets. This also means things you might keep on your computer. Think grades, attendance, citizenship. Could also mean things that the school isn't personally maintaining, but a third party is. Like, say, a website they use for assessing student math skills. So long as it contains student PII and is being maintained, that's an education record. Now, what does maintained mean? Well, it's not as simple as you might think. For example, let's say that you're a math teacher and you have your students grade each other's assignments and then call out their scores. At what point is an education record being maintained? This question was actually answered by the Supreme Court, who said that until it's in your gradebook, the record's not being maintained and is not an education record. And even then, the gradebook's the record, not the assignment. Some other records you keep may not be considered education records. For example, if you take any notes on students to use as a personal memory aid. So long as you're not sharing them with other people in the school, it's not an education record. However, FERPA does allow you to share these personal notes with a substitute. So when Ms. Viola Swamp comes to class, you can share them with her. But if you start sharing them with others at the school, then it's probably more of an education record. And remember, personal notes, doesn't matter what media they're in. Could be on your computer, could be written on the palm of your hand. So keep this definition of education records in mind. Now, I'd love to say more, but I've got to finish tracing my letters while I have my snack.